because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Umar Ahmed for IFLTV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm at Boxing Booth's gym. I'm joined by Mr. Adam Booth. Josh Kelly coming to the end of camp now, looking sharp today on the pads, as always, Adam.
Now, don't say that we got 2 more weeks of training left, right? There's 3 weeks from Saturday, 3 weeks tomorrow is the fight. So we can't be thinking we're coming to the end of camp. We're just right in the middle of it and focused on making sure that the quality in every session for the next 2 weeks is where it needs to be.
See, an emphatic display last time against Troy Williamson, and people questioned that fight. People did think it was going to be a tough fight for Josh, but he blazed through him with ease, really. What we expecting on June 24th from this Argentinian?
Well, the Troy fight, Josh went with one style, and that style was enough for that fight. But I know how much more Josh has got in him and how much more he can express himself. And he always has done ever since he came to the gym over 6 years ago. And my hope for him is that people get to see on fight night what we see in the gym on a daily basis. That style and those elements that you saw in the Troy fight was just part of it.
It's no secret, I spoke to Josh off camera, and after the Avanesian loss, he was battling a few demons in his personal life. It was a tough moment for him in his career. Just give us a bit of an insight, if you want to, if you don't mind, about that period of time for Josh.
Oh, it was dark. Like he was for a period way before the fight actually happened.
Oh.
And it was only, but sometimes cracks only show under pressure, and that's what came out. Training is 90% physical, fighting is 90% mental, and that part of him wasn't there, which led to that. But we needed that, and he needed that to ask a lot of hard questions of himself and to try and find the answers. And I'm just delighted that he has, and he's on such a great path now as a man and a young man, that it's just a relief that he is and has resolved that.
That's good to hear. We're wishing the best on June 24th. It's going to be a raucous night in Newcastle, live on DAZN. Adam, I do want to speak to you about the weekend, obviously, with Mick. Disappointing for us fans here. I'm sure very disappointed for yourself and within Team Conlan. What went wrong on Saturday?
I've not sat back and been able to pay too much attention to detail, because in this gym, everyone's so close. You win together and you lose together. And Mick is heartbroken and devastated, and we are all feeling that for him and with him. Yet we still had to be back in the gym early Monday morning for a sparring session. And so you can't overindulge that sad energy. It's what we do. It's the job. It's what we choose to do. After June 24th, I'll be able to sit down with Mick and talk through everything in detail. But for now, as a coach, I owe it to the fighters, just like I have done to Mick in the past when Josh lost to Avanesian, that I had to be back and do my job for Mick, and it's the same the other way around this time.
I appreciate that. Is he okay though? Have you spoken to him?
In what sense? Yeah, I've spoken.
But he's okay.
He's heartbroken and devastated. Physically, he's okay.
Yeah.
But mentally, emotionally, no, he's probably about as low as he ever has been.
Okay. Adam, just away from your stable, do you want to pick your thoughts on something that happened a couple of months ago? Joe Joyce losing. I know someone, of course, you worked with, you speak very highly of Joe Joyce. Tactically, it seemed very strange, the weight loss, the way he approached the fight with Zhang. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know about the weight loss. When I watched the fight, it looked like Joe had never boxed a southpaw before. Yet in the amateurs, he boxed a whole heap of them. And what he had in front of him was a southpaw who didn't concede to Joe trying to impose his physicality, which Joe does to everyone. And Zhang was sort of like big enough and as sturdy as Joe, and pinging that hard, sharp left hand from a southpaw stance. And Joe just didn't adjust to it, didn't see it, couldn't read it, kept getting caught by it, and that was enough for the win for Zhang.
How should he approach a rematch?
Stylistically, and just deal with Zhang, what Zhang brings to the table. Like, you know, you got to use the left hand as a barrier sometimes, and shoot the right hand and use the right hand as much as you would do the jab, and close the left hook after it, and deal with the left hand that's coming for it. But it almost looked like Joe didn't prepare for a southpaw. That's kind of how it came across.
Okay. Don't know if you've been keeping up with recent events in the heavyweight division. You probably haven't, you're so busy. But there was an offer sent from Tyson Fury's team to Anthony Joshua. We learnt yesterday, Frank Warren revealed that Joshua's team declined the offer for September 2nd, and Joshua instead is going to go with an August fight, probably against White, and then a fight against Deontay Wilder in Saudi Arabia. Do you think he's made the right move, Anthony?
He has to. He's the one. I don't know. If I'm honest, I've been so focused on what I'm doing and looking at the fights that have just been made and that have just happened, that I'm not really paying too much attention to stuff that's been chatted about but hasn't been signed off yet.
Can I get your thoughts though, because it does look like a formal offer is going to come in for Wilder v Joshua in Saudi Arabia. How do you see that playing out?
Dangerous fight for both of them. Like, Deontay can put anyone to sleep at any given moment, and AJ has proven that he's at that level, and it's a fight that is winnable and losable for both of them.
Just lastly as well, it looks like Chris Eubank Jr. will be fighting Conor Benn in Abu Dhabi. Your thoughts on that? Should it be happening?
Really? Don't know. If I'm honest, I don't have an opinion on it. That's probably you asked the right question. I don't, because I've not really thought about it too much. You know, we've all seen what's gone on and what has or hasn't happened and what hasn't been completed yet. And you know, for me, I just need to stay focused on my stuff. Enjoy the fights that are being made. Enjoy the fights that I'm watching, and not overly think. And I certainly haven't given that one too much thought.
Let's end on a positive note, though. I'm sure as a boxing fan you'll be excited about this one. Finally got an announcement for Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Thoughts on that fight, Adam?
Yeah, that's a fight at the highest level. And you know, a couple of fellas said, "Oh, you know, what have they got to do to win?" You can't oversimplify. This is a fight like a Lomachenko-Haney fight where they're both going to pose big problems for each other. I've always thought that Crawford will win that, and I'm not going to change my mind now. I think that he will, over the 12 rounds, I think he will have answers for moments a bit more than Spence. But you know, you can't pick either of them confidently, but I do see Crawford winning it.
We shall see. Well, listen, best of luck for the rest of the next 2 weeks with Josh Kelly in camp, and we'll see you in Newcastle for Fight Week.
Nice one.
Top man, Adam. Thank you. Cheers, brother. Thank you.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,